Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 13 of the F1 2021 Alpine mod career mode. Yesterday we're here back ready for the Singapore Grand Prix and a massive thank you as always for continued support on the channel. We've now hit 14,800 subscribers. We're getting really close to that 15k milestone now. That of course was one of the first big goals here in 2021. So obviously if you aren't already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed for more F1 2021 content. If you do go on to enjoy this video, like the video as well. It really does help us out. And yeah, let's dive in then here ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. So here we are then, ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. Obviously, unfortunately cancelled now in the real life 2021 season, but we still get to race around it here in the mod career mode nonetheless. As always, we'll quickly make all the setup changes. Obviously, a very high downforce circuit here at the Singapore Grand Prix. Very much a track where you got to have a lot of confidence in the car as well, so not too sure how aggressive to make the setup ready for this weekend. It's a fine old balance here in Singapore. Obviously, a lot of bumps as well, especially down the likes of the Raffles Boulevard and everything like that. But yeah, let's get everything sorted and head out onto the track. Right, here we are then, ready for the Singapore Grand Prix, round 13 of the year. And can we actually out-qualify Charles Leclerc for the first time in quite a while? You know, race pace generally has been very good in the car, but so far his qualifying pace has been right up there with the likes of Mercedes and Max Verstappen this year. The gap 11 points at this stage of the year, as we were really brave down through the first complex of corners there, just struggling a little bit to get the power down out of the end of Sector 1. As we head down the Raffles Boulevard there, Hamilton currently fastest as we reach the end of the first sector. Just so much top-end speed in that Merc, but you just know it's got the sticking power through the corners here. Hamilton trying to edge away from Max Verstappen in their championship battle. As we head down through Sector 2, just trying to be quick but calm as well here. Trying not to make too many mistakes. This should be a track that suits our car over the likes of Ferrari. You know, very high downforce, like we said, tends to go well for us here on F1 at 2021 mod career mode. So far, that's not the line through there, though. Struggle just to get the car slowed down where I wanted to. It's going to allow us a good run off the exit. There was Verstappen now fastest as we head out of Sector 2 in towards the final sector of the lap. Let's just see if we can keep it all hooked up. Just running on the white lines on the exit of the corner there. Can be very slippery, but chucking it down in towards the first of all these 90-degree corners in the final sector of the lap. Just trying to dance it between the curbs, trying not to use them too much, trying not to unsettle the balance of the car there as he nudged the wall in towards the final couple of corners of the lap there. A little bit of wheel spin out of the penultimate corner there, and we could have been on to be right up towards the front of the field. Round the final corner, P2 on the grid still. Still very happy with that. Well, there we go then. P2 on the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix there, and that is exactly the sort of result we needed heading into the race today. Hamilton on pole position there, the only man down into the 136s, but a 10th clear of Valtteri Bottas in at P3, as well as Max Verstappen there. The top four, a 10th and a half separated all of us in the end. Ferrari's in a bit of no man's land, 5th and 6th. We'll see how their race pace gets on as well. And then Vettel, Perez, Alonso and Lando Norris rounding out your top 10. Let's dive in then here ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. Right, well here we are then guys, ready on the grid for round 13 of the year here from the Singapore Grand Prix. The 23 turns of Marina Bay certainly make this one of the most difficult tracks on the Formula 1 calendar. One of the longest races as well generally in the F1 world, obviously with the nature of such a low speed circuit, the high humidity and everything like that. Mistakes are plenty and it certainly can provide some action this Grand Prix. I don't think any of us are going to forget the 2017 race. Obviously so much carnage from start to finish in that one around this track. And yeah, hopefully today though we can have a good race out. It has been a track that Alpine / Renault have gone well at in the past. Obviously you remember back to that 2017 Grand Prix, Jolyon Palmer picking up a fantastic 6th place for the team after Nico Hülkenberg retired, one running in podium contention as well there. But Hamilton 36 points clear at the top of your championship heading into this weekend. He's just looking to try and stamp this one out now. Just consistent good results towards the end of the year and just leave Max Verstappen with no major chance to close back up the points between now and the year there. But still, you know, we've got our battle going on with Charles Leclerc. We're not too worried about getting involved
with the front runners if we need to as well this weekend. You know, we're here for our own championship, our own points. You know, P4 is definitely on the cards, maybe P3 if Bottas has some issues there. But it is Hamilton and myself on the front row. Bottas and Verstappen make up your second row of your grid for the Grand Prix today. Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, both Ferraris on row 3. Vettel, Perez, and then Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris make up the end of the top 10. There's Stroll and Ricciardo, Gasly and Tsunoda. Then, of course, you got Mick Schumacher, Kimi Räikkönen, Nikita Mazepin, George Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Latifi rounding out your 20 cars for the start of the Singapore Grand Prix there. But yeah, hopefully we can keep it clean and tidy, get through the first lap in one piece, and then really see what the pace is like from there.
Right, here we are then. P2 on the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix, and obviously a track that's very, very difficult to overtake at as well. Maybe, just maybe, will lead to a good race here tonight. A very, very long race, obviously the most endurance-style event you get on the Formula 1 calendar here around Marina Bay. But hopefully we can keep it clean and tidy early on, settle down into a good rhythm. I'm not too worried about losing spots to Verstappen or Bottas. The aim is to outscore Charles Leclerc. That is the key this weekend. We want that P4 overall in the Drivers' Championship, but I'm sure if an opportunity opens up down towards Turn 1, you guys know me. I'm always going to try and go for it. Nonetheless, ready on the grid then for round 13 of the year here from the Singapore Grand Prix. Just waiting on those 5 red lights. 5 lights, and it is lights out. And away we go. Off to a good little start as we head down towards Turn 1 there. Bottas going to try and look around the outside as Hamilton just covers us off, while giving the room through Turn 1 and Turn 2 there. As Bottas being really, really brave around the outside of Turn 3. And the Mercedes might be able to get the power down on the exit of the corner there. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between myself and Valtteri. Gives himself a compromised run through Turn 4. But we do stay close to him. But look at the grunt coming from the Mercedes power unit as we head down the Raffles Boulevard for the first time. Valtteri Bottas clear up into P2 of the Grand Prix. And that is not what Max Verstappen wants to see at the start of this race. Hamilton romping away at the front of the field there. Could be a big haul of points and another big swing in Hamilton's favour come the end of the weekend if things were to end now. But Verstappen, yeah, he needs to get his head down, he needs to focus as well. You know, its championship isn't over. We've seen the likes of Alonso bring it back. Or, sorry, Sebastian Vettel even bring it back to Fernando Alonso from about this points margin with about this many Grand Prix left. So it's not over just yet this year. But anyway, heading out of Sector 2. P3 still in the Singapore Grand Prix. Maybe, just maybe, Mercedes are a bit too much to handle this weekend. Verstappen really seems to be struggling to settle down into a rhythm in this Grand Prix as we're still applying some pressure to Valtteri Bottas in this race, trying to use just a bit of our overtake, everything like that. We seem to be very, very good through the corners, despite all the dirty air. We're just trying to hang on with him down the straightaways. Like we said, that Mercedes has got so much grunt coming from the power unit at this stage of the year. A lot of ponies coming out of the exhaust pipe. Not quite how real Formula 1 works, but that's what we're rolling with. But yeah, Verstappen, though, pretty much a second back from us already. If we can get that at DRS before it starts, that would be great. Hamilton, new fast lap of the Grand Prix. We only go about half second slower, but Hamilton seems to be in a world of his own at this stage of the race. Already 2.3 ahead of myself, 1.7 ahead of Valtteri. He is a man on a mission this weekend. I think he wants to wrap up the title early if he can. World title number 8, of course, in this alternate universe. And how crazy is that? I'll tell you what, we're not losing much to Valtteri Bottas in this Grand Prix. We're still sticking all over the back of him. Or almost completely into the back of him at the end of Sector 2 there. We just about keep it. I think we nudged the wall, but luckily we didn't hit Valtteri in that moment, and that was very, very scary. Had a couple of incidents with the Mercs this year. Just goes to show how brave we can afford to be on the brakes, but still sticking with him. In every passing lap, Bottas seems to be less and less confident over the Anderson Bridge. Oh, getting almost into the back of him. We might have to go for a send if we can just get a little bit closer in towards that corner, or, depending on when he pits, we might try and go for an under or overcut on him. That Merc, yeah, is looking vulnerable. Right, team want us in then at the end of this one. Let's just wait and see. We'll probably do the opposite of whatever Bottas does in this Grand Prix, unless of course we can get round him before then. Seems to be good out onto the Raffles Boulevard, but it's just over the Anderson Bridge he seems to really struggle. And that's where he seems to be a lot more vulnerable in this Grand Prix. Use a little bit of our overtake, see if anything's doable down here, as this time around we're gaining a little bit more on the Mercedes man. He's going to go defensive. I'll have a look to the outside. Bottas, big swing in defence. But can we potentially have a look there? We've got the inside for the next corner. Up the inside we go. very, very close to some wheel-to-wheel contact between the pair of us, but we give each other the room. And Bottas, oh, he sits on the apex. I was going to try and go for the switchback there. Not able to make that one work this time round, but duking it out on the streets of Singapore. Are we going to be potentially able to stay close enough to go for something through the next couple of turns? Let's just wait and see. There's the Mercedes man. Try and get slow in, fast out. Over the bridge we go. Can we get a run? We're close still. We're still definitely close enough to potentially go for a send. Let's have a look for it. Up the inside we go. Given the room on the outside. Big kick of oversteer, but we do make the move work. And we're back into P2 then of the Singapore Grand Prix there. That has definitely brought Max Verstappen into this as well. But now, yeah, we will of course definitely pit at the end of this lap as we've got the track position. And we don't want to get overcut. Or undercut, sorry, I should say, from Valtteri Bottas. He might be able to get the overcut on us. But he seems to be struggling, that Merc. I wonder if he's got some small issues in that car at the moment. It's never been Mercedes' best track in the world, but Hamilton is still going strong here. Bottas does dive into the pit, so maybe it's Verstappen who'll be able to get the cut on both of us. Make sure we don't speed like we did last weekend. But yeah, Hamilton, Verstappen and Leclerc all stay out. Then Vettel's in, Sainz is in, Perez is in as well behind us. Just going to leave that Stroll out for another lap, hopefully. We won't get jumped by anyone. Come on, good stop. 3 seconds. We just, only just, come out ahead of Valtteri Bottas there. Probably would have been an illegal block in real life F1, I'll be honest. But we're going to head back out onto the circuit. And going to be back out in P11 of the race. No warnings for going over the pit lane exit line. Now we just got to try and smash this out lap. This is a golden opportunity for Max Verstappen to get the overcut on both Bottas and myself, and that could be critical for his championship hunt as well. As we're now just stuck behind Nicholas Latifi, so we head through the final sector. He's on mediums as well, so I can only imagine he's going for another couple of laps here. Look at that, Latifi's so slow. Can we go right around the outside? Yes, we can. Wasn't quite expecting to pull off the move there, I'll be honest. But we have made it work. We got one of that's Giovinazzi into the pit lane, as our teammate Fernando Alonso into the pits as well. There, a bit of a wobble out of the final corner. But where is Verstappen going to re-emerge? There he is, heading back out of the pit lane. It's going to be very, very close. So we head through turn 1, but we've actually made it work there. Hamilton's been held up as well, as I think Verstappen has got the jump on Bottas in all of this. So Nicholas Latifi is up into P4 briefly of the Grand Prix. Nikita Mazepin is leading a Formula 1 race. I didn't expect to be saying that this season, I'll be honest, but hopefully Hamilton and I can absolutely bang on him. This could be a great opportunity for us if Hamilton gets stuck behind Mazepin, I'll be honest. Let's just wait and see what we can do as we head out over the Anderson Bridge. Try and get a good run on the exit of the corner. Is Hamilton going to be able to look for anything on Mazepin? He certainly is going to try it, but we're going to get close to Lewis Hamilton. Big old send up the inside. Don't want to go into the back of Mazepin, though. And we are now up into effective lead of the Grand Prix. But Hamilton, no, he comes back at us on the exit of the corner. There we go for a big old send again into the next corner. And now we should have made that work there as Mazepin in front, just getting a little bit of wheel spin out of the next couple of corners here. We need to try and get past the Haas man as quickly as possible around the outside, just like we did to Latifi. Maybe we can make this work again there. And Mazepin has been thoroughly humiliated in that situation. Up into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix, seemingly out of nowhere here, as they're both going to get stuck behind him out of the final corner. Now we've got to run away as fast as we can. Hamilton having a look past him down in towards turn 1. I think he's pulled off the move there. Verstappen might be able to follow him through. And this suddenly has become a very, very interesting game of cat and mouse. Oh, Kimi Räikkönen out of the Grand Prix. Can't say that's going to change a whole lot. Here is Hamilton now, all over the back of us again, as Verstappen and Bottas still, stuck behind Mazepin. I think Hamilton has just turned it up to 11 in this Grand Prix, really trying to push us on around these Singapore streets at the moment, trying to force us into an error. Oh my... Hamilton? He's just completely rammed into the back of me. What was that from Lewis Hamilton there? That might require him to get a front wing change in this Grand Prix there. Just way too late on the brakes there, and that doesn't happen often at all on F1 2020 there. Just completely shunted me through the Anderson Bridge once more there, but this could be a huge, huge turnaround for Max Verstappen in this Grand Prix weekend there. Just when Hamilton looked like he was going to pull away even more points, Hamilton now with some front wing damage. Can he potentially stay out to the end of the Grand Prix? Normally the AI, with more than about 2 laps to go, will always pit when they get any front wing damage. There it is, Hamilton going to dive it in. I think he is. Yes, Hamilton into the pits then. So Max Verstappen, out of nowhere, up into P2 of the Singapore Grand Prix there. And that really opens the door for Max and Valtteri here. Verstappen, new fastest lap of the race as well there. But what a strange error from Lewis Hamilton. I think we might have just taken a bit too much out of the tyres early on in this stint, because Verstappen now is all over the back of us and really starting to apply the pressure as well there. Could Verstappen go from losing potentially sort of 13 points to Hamilton in this Grand Prix to maybe pulling out 25 and taking a huge chunk out of his championship lead there? Verstappen to the inside. Was not expecting that in that moment there. As all he tries to hang us out to dry. We'll keep the nose there. In towards the next couple of corners. We'll be a bit more aggressive than we were with Bottas, because we know what Max can be like. And we just about hold on. This time around there, Bottas is getting back in this battle here. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, seemingly out of nowhere, are now looking towards the race lead as well here. But this race is not over. Singapore has provided some carnage. Oh, Max Verstappen out of nowhere, up the inside. Over the Anderson Bridge. That completely took me by surprise there that time round. So Hamilton was thinking about going for it. Didn't make it work there. Verstappen still, though, goes for it over there. And this race has just delivered so much today. And we've still got 3 more laps to go. Verstappen all very late on the brakes there. I was worried he was going to go into the back of me. Tries to have a look around the outside there. And Bottas now scented an opportunity. Oh, very deep there. That was close. It's all going to keep unfolding to the end of this race. We just desperately want to hold on for potentially our 2nd win of the year. But Verstappen knows there's big championship repercussions in this. We go defensive round the final corner. Nowhere for Verstappen to go this time round. We're going to have to keep using the overtake to defend with. 2 laps to go here from Singapore, and we've got 5 cars separated by 2 seconds for the race lead. This is absolutely insane way to finish this Grand Prix. Look at that, Verstappen again, all through turn 1, thought about it. I think he might have got a hit from Bottas from behind on the X there, really kicked out the back end, and look at that, suddenly you've got a 1 second margin to the guys behind there. And this could be, like I said, the golden opportunity that we need just to get that little bit of a breakaway here. Is Verstappen going to be able to look past Bottas at all? Oh, we run horribly deep through the corner, but we do hold on still. Oh, that's not going to help us in this race. Huge amount of front wing damage as we just nudge the wall over the Anderson Bridge. But we've got 1 lap to go. Just like the team saying in the background, we need to just stay out to the end of this race. We'll have to be even earlier on the brakes into the corners there. The tyres are absolutely destroyed in this race. We've got 1 more lap to try and hold on to try and stay ahead of Max Verstappen there again. A big old dive on the brakes, but he couldn't make it work. They're almost into the back of us once more. There might have been a little bit of contact that time round, as Verstappen is just looking for any opportunity at this stage of the race. We've got to just keep it parked on the apexes nice and tidy on the brakes as well, and just keep positioning the car everywhere we need to here. Verstappen thinks about it, up the inside towards the final corner. What is that from Max Verstappen? He completely hits Bottas as well. This carnage in the Singapore Grand Prix there. They're going to completely destroy each other's races. Verstappen gets a penalty, and fair enough, there was never a move on there. In towards the final corner, Leclerc now moves himself up into the podium places and, well, and effectively net P2 of the Grand Prix. But this has given us a lifeline now here in Singapore. Max Verstappen really struggling out of the first couple of corners there. What on earth was that from the Red Bull man? They just desperately wanted the win, and he might just have completely thrown it away now in this race. Takes most of Bottas' front wing off, I think, in that situation as well. But carnage from start to finish unfolding in the Singapore Grand Prix there. Again, I got no idea what Max was trying to do in towards the final corner. There was definitely not a move on in that situation there, and luckily for us, he's given us a bit of a lifeline, to be honest. With, I think he's definitely taken some front wing damage. He's now given us a huge chance to break away as he tries to hold on ahead of Charles Leclerc here. He might still get P3 in this Grand Prix as Bottas is losing time hand over fist. But this has just been chaos here in Singapore under the lights. It's often provided some drama, but nothing quite like we've seen tonight. And seemingly out of nowhere here as we head in towards the final few corners of the Singapore Grand Prix with half a front wing. I mean, have you seen a race like that on F1 2020? I certainly haven't so far on this game. Round in the final couple of corners. If that race doesn't earn a subscription and a like, I do not know what will final 3 turns of the Singapore Grand Prix. We've got nothing left in the front end. This thing is absolutely wrecked. But round in the final corner, it's going to be the win here in Marina Bay. I am lost for words.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
They've endured the harsh conditions here in Singapore to pull off a spectacular victory. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Here come today's winning drivers, and what a race it was. This is a team that knows success very well in F1, and they're just itching for even more. Congratulations to the Renault team for their excellent win today. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I think for driver of the day, I'd probably pick Lando Norris. He lived up to every inch of his reputation today, and I think he'll be going home, quite rightly, a bit proud of himself. I have to say Sebastian Vettel certainly caught my eye during today's race. Incredible driving. I know that's at odds with the official decision, but I think they deserve some recognition on a day where both of these drivers are at the top of their game.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Singapore Grand Prix, and what a race it was when all is said and done there. It might not show it on paper for ourselves, that P2 to P1, but those of you that have watched through will know just how ridiculous that race was at the end of the day. There's Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz get Ferrari's first double podium of the year there. None of Hambot Ver on the podium come the end of race day there. Max Verstappen in P4, Valtteri Bottas down in P9 there. He lost a lot of places on that final lap as well. There you can see it was myself, then both Ferraris, then both Red Bulls, there Perez, good recovery in to 5th place. There Lando Norris 10th to 6th in the end, Stroll 11th to 7th as well there, with Alonso moving up a spot himself into P8 there. Daniel Ricciardo getting the last points paying position at the end of the weekend. You can see the rest of your order there. Vettel, Gasly, Mick Schumacher doing a good job to split the AlphaTauri there. Yuki Tsunoda, Hamilton did recover to 15th there ahead of George Russell, Giovinazzi, Mazepin and Latifi, with just Raikkonen not making it to the checkered flag as well there. And it means championship-wise, all gets very, very close at the top of the standings once more there. Hamilton and Verstappen now less than a race wins margin between the pair of them. If things continue to go wrong for Lewis, could Max just about clutch up come the end of the year there. Myself and Charles Leclerc still taking points out of Valtteri Bottas as well there now. The gap between those two, 30 points. We're just 4 points now behind Charles Leclerc as well at this stage of the year. The only movers though, Perez gets past Vettel in the battle for P7, and in constructors wise there, Ferrari again takes some good points out of Red Bull there. We take some good points out of the pair of them as well, I think, there, with Aston Martin and McLaren still just behind. Mercedes, it's only a matter of time now, I think, before they mathematically guarantee the title. They've now got a 3 perfect weekends margin over Red Bull. I think with just 6 Grand Prix to go of the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well for more Formula 1 action. I think next time round, we head back to the Japan, before the US Grand Prix. So make sure you're there. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.